Hey there, and welcome to another Sunny Daze podcast. I'm your host, Jolly, and today we've got some uplifting stories, some did you know, and more. So grab a cup of sunshine and let's get started. First up today, I've got a great story for you, a tale of resilience, friendship, and new beginnings. A forever home for Relly and Boone. Well, let me introduce you to Relly and Boone, two shelter dogs who spent months at a Greenville Humane Society in South Carolina. Both are residents there far longer than any dog should be, each hoping for a family to take them home. Along the way, they found a special friendship in each other. Staff and volunteers often saw them playing and comforting each other, two companions who faced similar struggles and grew close because of it. But last week, something amazing happened. After countless days of waiting, both Relly and Boone were finally adopted. Not only did they find their forever homes, but they found them on the same day. These two dogs, who had brought each other comfort for so long, got a happy ending side by side. It's a beautiful reminder to consider those pets who might have been at shelters a little bit too long. Just because a pet's journey to finding a family takes time doesn't mean it won't happen. Stories like Relly and Boone show that there's hope for everyone waiting for their day in the sun. All right, Relly and Boone. And now, let me introduce you to someone who's quite incredible, Miss Lucia Laura Sangentillo. Well, she is, today I'm going to bring you this story to tell you that she celebrated her 114th birthday, November the 22nd. She was born in 1910 in Italy. Lucia is currently Italy's second oldest living person with a life spanning over a century of prolonged global change. Lucia's life began in an Italian village called Saturno, where she later married and built a family. Out of her four children, two survived, and her son Michael, now 84, and a daughter, Maria, 79, continue to be her close companions. Lucia worked tirelessly, spending years as an agricultural laborer and even serving as a midwife for her community, sharing her care and knowledge with her neighbors. Resilience has been a defining trait for Lucia, even in the later years. At the age of 107, she suffered an accident fracturing her femur, but she successfully underwent surgery and continued living life with grace. By her 110th birthday, Lucia had welcomed two grandchildren and three great grandchildren into the family, expanding her legacy and witnessing multiple generations thrive. When asked about her longevity, Lucia attributed it to a life filled with simple, healthy meals, especially homegrown veggies. Evenings often feature light meals or broth at the gentle end of each day. Her commitment to these traditions reflects the heart of the Italian culture: family, nourishment, and resilience. Over the years, Lucia has received several honors. On her 108th birthday, she was recognized with a plaque from the mayor of her hometown. Earlier this year, she was presented with a certificate from the European Supercentenarian Organization, celebrating her as one of the oldest people in Italy. So cool. Lucia remains active and clear-minded, still living in Sur, sorry, Sereno with her daughter Maria's care. Her life story isn't just about her age, but speaks to the strength of family, the richness of Italian traditions, and the beauty of a life well lived. A sunny day's happy birthday shout out to you, Miss Lucia. Sorry for murdering those names. My apologies. Now, how about a jolly chat story? We'll call from rags to riches, the story of Fabian and Fiona. Once upon a time, in a busy little town called Mill Valley, there lived a brother and a sister duo, Fabian and Fiona, who had a knack for finding adventure. Though not always the glamorous kind, Fabian, the dreamer, spent his days fixing up old furniture in a dusty workshop, hoping one day his craftsmanship would catch someone's eye. And Fiona, ever the pragmatist, worked at the town's smallest bakery, kneading dough at dawn and dreaming up unique dessert recipes she could never afford to make. One stormy evening, while closing up shop, Fiona noticed an old, odd, dusty jar on the bakery's highest shelf. The tag read, Wild Orchard Honey, rare and priceless. She brought it to Fabian, who suggested they look up its origin. To their surprise, they discovered it was a forgotten treasure, a jar of honey from the last known tree in the famous wild orchard. Incredibly valuable to collectors, this honey was worth a small fortune. Fabian and Fiona decided to sell the honey to a renowned collector who had been searching for it. With the money, they were able to make their dreams come true. Fabian opened his own furniture boutique, where his pieces became an instant hit for their craftsmanship and charm. And Fiona, where she started her own bakery, Fiona's Flourish, where she created exotic pastries that kept people lined up around the block. Over time, their hard work and creativity turned them into local legends, and even visitors from other towns would come to see Fabian's unique furniture or taste Fiona's famous desserts. The siblings had gone from struggling to thriving, from dusty shops to owning their own busy businesses. And the best part, they still worked side by side, just as they always had. Fabian and Fiona's story became one of Mill Valley's favorite tales, a reminder that even the simplest of things can hold the key to unexpected fortunes. The end. And now, are you ready for some Did You Know? Well, since it's that time of year, let's do some Did You Know with Thanksgiving and Friendsgiving. Well, to start off, Thanksgiving. Did you know that turkey wasn't always the main dish? Historians believe the first Thanksgiving meal likely featured venison, duck, and even seafood like lobster and mussels. Turkey became the iconic dish much later. Did you know TV dinners were inspired by Thanksgiving leftovers? In 1953, Swanson accidentally ordered too many turkeys for Thanksgiving. They came up with the idea to package the leftover into trays, creating the first TV dinners. Interesting. And did you know the Macy's Day Parade started with zoo animals? Yep. In 1924, Macy's used live animals borrowed from the Central Park Zoo for its first parade. Balloons didn't become a staple until 1927, 3 years later. Wow, that's great. Okay, and Benjamin Franklin, did you know, loved turkeys? He actually suggested the turkey as the national bird of the United States. He found them to be more respectable than the bald eagle, but the eagle ultimately won. And now, how about Friendsgiving? Well, Friendsgiving. Did you know that Friendsgiving popularity is very recent? The term Friendsgiving emerged in the late 2000s and became especially popular by 2011. Many credit it to the rise of social media and millennials' culture focused on chosen family. And did you know the Friends TV show inspired Friendsgiving? Though the word didn't exist then, the Friends Thanksgiving episode helped inspire the idea of spending Thanksgiving with friends. Now, these episodes are a go-to for many Friendsgiving celebrations. Fascinating. And that's great. It's a time to get together, an extra time to get together. And Friendsgiving menus get creative. Did you know that? Well, unlike Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving menus often include non-traditional items. People bring different things, so they might bring anything from tacos to sushi, making it a very diverse feast. And I've also known several Friendsgiving that do have just the absolute traditional. Well, both Friendsgiving and Thanksgiving are about gratitude. And it is incredible how traditions continue to grow, bring people closer, whether family, friends, or a little bit of both. And now, how about some entertainment fun? Well, I was looking around and asking what's kind of a classic Thanksgiving movie. Do you know the one that stands out? A lot of people talk about Planes, Trains, and Automobiles from 1987, starring Steve Martin and John Candy. Here's why it's kind of a Thanksgiving staple. The plot, the film follows Neil Page, which is played by Steve Martin, a businessman trying to get home to Chicago for Thanksgiving. His travel plans go hilariously awry when he ends up stuck with Del Griffith, who's played by John Candy, an overly talkative shower curtain ring salesman. Together, they face a series of misadventures from canceled flights to car troubles as they try to make it home in time for Thanksgiving. And the Thanksgiving connection, while it's not about the holiday itself, the entire storyline revolves around Neil's desperate journey to be with his family on Thanksgiving. The film highlights themes of gratitude, patience, and unlikely friendship, making it a perfect holiday season movie. So if you're looking for a Thanksgiving movie, try out Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It's a good pick for some laughs and a heartwarming story. All right. And how about a Thanksgiving Day song? Well, I had never heard of one, and a friend told me of this one in particular, and I looked it up, and it's fascinating. Have you ever heard of a song called Alice's Restaurant? Well, a classic Thanksgiving related song that that is always brought up that my friend was telling me about is by Arlo Guthrie, Alice's Restaurant. It's a folk song from 1967 that's become kind of something they say of a Thanksgiving tradition on the radio, especially in the US. Yep, Alice's Restaurant is such a unique Thanksgiving tradition. It's one of those songs where the storytelling is so vivid and funny that you almost forget you're listening to music. More than a one-man show. Over the years, it's become a nostalgic Thanksgiving staple for a lot of families. Now you have a quirky piece of music history there. So here's why it's tied to Thanksgiving. Well, the song tells a humorous, lengthy story about a real life Thanksgiving in 1965 when Guthrie and a friend are arrested for littering. The incident hilariously spirals out of control, eventually affecting Guthrie's draft status for Vietnam and the traditional day Thanksgiving. Well, many radio stations play the 18-minute long song every Thanksgiving, and it's a nostalgic ritual for listeners who remember it from back in the day. 18 minutes long. Listen to it. Saw the little clip on it. Really, really wonderful. Great little Arlo Guthrie gives an iconic comedic presentation of this. It's quirky but beloved tradition, and Alice's Restaurant is often one of the first things that many people said comes to mind. Fascinating, fascinating. So give it a listen. Give it a listen. As we come to the close of today's episode, let's remember that the stories we've shared can serve as a reminder of the goodness that surrounds us every day. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So find your beauty, shine, and share it. Remember to spread love, joy, and positivity whenever and wherever you go. We'll see you next week for more stories, entertainment news, and some fun facts. Until then, peace and love always. And thank you for tuning in to the Sunny Daze podcast. And have a happy Thanksgiving, folks.